welcome to episode 3 of Crescent City, House of Flame and Shadow. We just got through chapters 37 through 64, which was a big chunk, all the way to the beginning of part 3.
Amy, are you doing a tandem read between your copies? Like, how are you doing this?
No, I haven't thought about it. Because the bonus chapters, I don't know anything about it and like where it takes place. So, I don't know. But no, I'm not doing a tandem read.
You're not like, I'll read like a couple chapters from this one, and then I'll swap over and read a couple chapters from this one.
Give me some like equal love to all my copies.
Right, yeah. They're not just there for the bonus chapters. Sorry, Elena, you were saying we finished through chapter 64, right?
Chapter 64, and I have to do a fun little... By the way, we will be spoiling things from ACOTAR, although I don't know if there were a ton of things from ACOTAR to spoil in this section. I feel like there wasn't a whole lot, but I'm just so you know, we will be talking about ACOTAR if you haven't finished it. No promises not to be just blatantly talking about characters and things from those books as well.
Just a baldric, if you know what that is.
Oh my god, that was so funny.
Also, can I say if somehow you're just going through this book and listening to these episodes with us and you still haven't read ACOTAR, I think congratulations, like bravo to you for sticking it out. But you're gonna have to go back and read those after this faux show.
Okay, where do we want to start in this large section of content? I started putting together notes and I realized they jumped kind of all over the place.
I feel like I say this every time, but there was so much. There was so much in this section, like.
And this section was significantly longer than some of the other sections. Which I loved, but also the past 2 days have been busy.
The past 2 days have been busy. Thank you all for sticking with us on this. This is, we're having a great time. We're not sleeping, but this has been great. We're having a great time.
What real life responsibilities? What are they?
No, we've given up. Everybody's given up. I can jump in somewhere with just like a quick part 3. I guess it's not truly part 3. Our part 3 up through chapter 64. Like 37 to 64, I have to say, like, I feel like I love this book now. Like, I was unfortunately on the fence up until now. Like, was thinking maybe it's my 3rd favorite Crescent City book thus far. And I don't know what it was, but like Bryce came back to Midgard and she became Bryce again. Like all of a sudden, like she was just like the sarcastic, witty, amazing badass that I have loved for 2 full books. And I was like, I don't know if it was like the weird language translation that was going on between you 3 in that cave, but like Bryce is back and I just loved like every single minute of this part. It was just so good.
Hello onto the submarine in the middle of that meeting. I literally screamed. I was literally like, this is the exact vibe that I needed.
Yes, her just like entering the submarine and just being like, Queen Bryce at your service. I was like, yes, give it to me.
Being like, I am the queen, and Hunt just immediately jumping on and being like, yep, that's a queen there. Don't question it.
He's so great. He had his moments in this section, which I think we'll talk about, but like I just love how immediately he was like, yep, this is my girl. She can stand here and talk to you, Ocean Queen, the way that she is talking to you, because she is in fact queen of the Valbaran Fae.
Should we talk about how much of the Ocean Queen sucks? Because she sucks and I hate her. Or can we talk about how unhappy I was with Hunt for a good portion of this section?
Let's talk about the Ocean Queen first. I feel like I want to get that out of the way, just like as a quick warm up. Like Ocean Queen. I will say, when she came on the scene, loved her. Loved the whole vibe. Like, small woman that automatically can make herself as big or as small as she feels like being at any given time. And like, decked in like cool sea creatures and just like given those Ursula vibes, like loved it. But yes, did not love her as soon as she opened her mouth.
As soon as you hear like about all of the weird blackmail threatened things that she's done over the past few years, I immediately opted out. Immediate big no.
Yeah. Did you hate her too, Jamie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I'm not liking the vibes she's giving off, especially when she was like, oh, was she's the one that was like execute, or evacuate Midgard plan or something? Was that her?
Yeah.
Yeah. As soon as she said that, I was like, nah.
Yeah, it took me a little bit because at first I was just like, oh, like strong female ruler vibes. Like, okay, I can get behind that. Like, obviously she has to come on strong because Therian has been a piece of shit for a little bit. So, like, I totally get the initial, but yeah, just like realizing that like she's the whole reason that Lydia's not with her kids. And like, I get that there are some reasons, but like, did you have to be so mean? And then like, Therian easing out when he realized that he would be stuck on the sub with her. I was like, yes, I totally agree with that judgment call. And yeah, just like didn't love her. Like, again, understood the whole I don't think you can beat the Asteri, therefore I think saving some is better than everybody dying. But I was just like, I think you need to get on Team Cave. Is everybody Team Cave now? And just like we're gonna beat the Asteri. Like, come on.
People have already made Team Cave shirts, right? Like Team Cave shirts
hope.
have to be available and for purchase.
I don't know why I didn't look to see if I could order some before this episode. Like, should we see if we can get them by 2 days
Or
from now or by tomorrow for the next episode?
Wait, I don't want to look it up because what if
Yeah,
there's
don't.
spoilers?
You know what? We'll get them for our like live Crescent City like therapy session taping. We'll get them for that. Yeah. Team Cave. But yeah, Ocean Queen, no, not a fan. All the way up until like the end of this section where Lydia was like, yeah, I'm not going to like follow her anymore. Like I'm done with the we just have power and we abuse it all the time monarch types. So 2 thumbs up to getting rid of all the bad people in power.
I love this little group that we have.
Oh, so good.
Yeah, I think like as soon as they got out of the dungeons, like it just this book is really good now.
Yeah.
I keep waiting for Baxian to die. I just don't see a scenario in which Baxian makes it out of this book. So every time there's like a big conflict, I'm like, where's Baxian?
Where's like finding his black wings, like where is he? Yeah.
Or when Flynn and Deck went missing for like 3 chapters before we found out they were taken, and Rune kept just casually being like, don't know where my friends are. Seems fine.
Can I say that I was definitely ashamed of myself and Rune when Morven and the Autumn King pointed out, like, yeah, Rune won't notice for a while that the 2 of you got taken because he's like so into wooing that woman. And I was like, and Brooke also didn't notice because she's also very into the scenes between Lydia and Rune. Had no idea.
Guilty. Sorry, Deck and Tristan.
Sorry.
Flynn. Sorry.
3. It took me 3 casual mentions about how they just weren't there.
I just really thought they were wingmanning him. Like, I genuinely thought they were like, we have taken a stack of books and we are just over here. Like, you 2 need to work your shit out. We're gonna stay out of the way.
That was my initial thought until like one of the research scenes. They're just not in the library doing research. And I was like, I understand wingmanning, but it's too far now. Like, it's too far to be actively not helping the cause.
Yeah, but then they went and made tea in a fire, and Brooke was immediately pacified and thought about it not for a single second longer. I'm ashamed, and I will admit it. I'm sorry, Declan and Flynn. So sorry.
But we got some really cute Rune Lydia moments.
Oh, God.
I won't apologize for that.
The tension building up to it was so perfect.
Guys, were Hunt and Bryce like this fun at the beginning of Crescent City? Like, was like, am I just blissfully forget? Like, and not that I don't love them, but like, am I just now like super into the shiny new toy and I'm forgetting how shiny the other toy was? Because I love these 2 so much.
Well, Hunt and Bryce definitely had like that enemies to lovers thing going on.
Yeah.
And Hunt just like underestimating her and Bryce surprising us every way.
Yeah, but Rune and Lydia have been like doing the whole enemies to lovers thing this book too. So I mean, like, I just don't know.
Well, they were doing like that silent treatment, and then like the secret glances.
Oh,
I ate that up.
Oh my goodness. When he just finally like reached back out to her, I was like, look at him reaching out his hand. See, I'm ruining Akatar. He just like he put it out there and she took it. I was like, yeah, just talk about all the little things and then like the bigger things. And it was just so great.
I'm glad they also didn't like jump each other's bone right away. Like they're just taking their time to heal first, and I
Oh
really
my goodness.
appreciated that.
Yeah.
Loved the cuddle scene. I thought that was so cute, like absolutely adorable. And then they go into the caves and are like, let's get distracted in these caves that are super dangerous. Like, let's start making out. I'm like, sorry, this is not the time. Do I love it? Yes. Is this the time or place? Absolutely not.
Once again, Brooke in the back of her mind was like, Tristan and Flynn could be like dying right now, but like, I do want you to kiss her, and she wants you to kiss her, so you have to kiss her. Like, I will not apologize. So good. I feel like we're gonna talk about Rune and Lydia again because I can't contain myself, but you had brought up Hunt, Elena, and I feel like we do need to discuss the large winged demon angel in the room. So would you like to take it away?
Like, he needs to be in the cause for the sake of the cause. Like, he can't just, like, begrudgingly go along with it because he's just gonna accept whatever Bryce wants. He needs to believe in it. And it's just so frustrating seeing him struggle with it.
Yeah. To play devil's advocate, I will say that I do understand where he's coming from. Like, boy has been through some shit, and like, especially like a lot very recently. And I think, like, his 7 years of going through this was probably less horrific than the 5 days that he went through it with this because, like, he has so much to lose now. And like, it's not just Bryce, because he says that. He's like, the things that keep me up at night are like thinking of you being in the hands of the Asteri and like them killing you. But he, like, in that moment, like, had Rune, had Baxi, and like, he's got this family now that he didn't have before. And I get that, like, Hunt is just having this moment where he sees everything that's on the line, and like, it's not just him, it's everyone else. So like, I feel for him, but at the same time, I'm on Bryce's side. It's like, boy, like, we have come too far. And I loved when she said, like, we have to fight for the other people, like the other mates, so that they don't have to go through this. And I was like, yes.
I'm I'm also gonna play devil's advocate. Like I can see from Hunt's side like everything that he's been through. Bryce didn't get to see the torture. I mean, he explained what happened, but like I don't think he ever explained like what his thought process or what he was feeling in those moments. But he's just been through a lot. So I think I was more understanding on Hunt's side. And then I was also frustrated with Bryce too, because during that time in the caves, she was just like against the fate. And you have people telling her, like, you could do more. You could be queen. Like even Flynn's sister was like questioning her. And which, by the way, I really like her character. I didn't think I
Love
would,
her.
but yeah, she's amazing.
Oh,
I'd love to see more. But yeah, but now that it's just yeah, it's it takes two, and it takes for them to work together. And I think Hunt is also frustrated with like not being looped in, which I think, you know, she doesn't always you can kind of see it like when right before the caves, she was talking through him with him her plans were. But when things are just like spontaneous like that, but it's very Bryce. Like I feel like I can't I can't get mad at her, too mad at her for it. What do you guys
That's
think?
fair. Hunt has been through a lot, and like there's definitely is that perspective. I just like want a little more from him, like a little more belief in her. And I agree, Jamie. Like it was definitely frustrating on Bryce's end when she was so anti-Fae, and I think it just made it all that much better at the end of this section when she finally is like, "You're right. Like I need to do this. Like I am the future. Like I am going to get us to where we need to be." First, I don't believe that we should have monarchies anymore. Like, gonna definitely disband that at some point. But in the meantime, I am willing to take the stage and like put everyone in their place.
yeah, it was like a beautifully small arc. And I mean, like, small in that I think she really like ramped up that like Fae racism that has always been inside of her. And like, for good reasons. Like, we understand like how much she's been hurt and all of the reasons that she hates them. But I just loved when Baxine was like, Bryce, like, it's not all Fae. Like, Flynn's not like that. Deck's not like that. Rune's not, and like, just like listed, and then was like, Danica was like that with the wolves, and like Ethan's not like that. And just like, it took Baxian to, I think, like, sit her down and be like, you need to stop this. Like, it's not like they need you, like the Fae need you, and just like the whole ending of this part with her just like taking it on, and she's like, I loved when I think is it Sathia? Sathia?
Sathia. I think I
Sathia.
pronounced Sathia, but I don't know if
She
I'm right.
she's like Queen of the Midgard Fae, and Bryce is like, whoa, maybe, but like let's take it one step at a time. And yeah, I think that one of the things that I've loved about Bryce and Hunt for sure is like the amazing amount of growth that these two have gone through since like page 1 of Earth and Blood. Oh my goodness. Like, yeah. And they both like still have things to work on. And I love that Sarah keeps bringing it up. Like, they need to keep working on their communication. They need to keep working on themselves, and they need to keep working on each other. Love it.
Did you guys have the realization while we were reading this that we were so wrong last episode? Literally everything about Bryce being trapped and the Autumn King coming around. Like, we didn't hit a single thing. Like, all misses. Only misses.
My
Well-
favorite part was when she like immediately shackled him and put him in a closet, and I was like, well, I'm not upset, but I did not see this coming.
Yeah,
So
I didn't
good.
see it coming either. But I think last episode I was like, I'd be okay with no Autumn King redemption. We're
think you did-
definitely not gonna get one now.
No, I think that was definitely you, Jamie, and like props to you. And honestly, like as she murdered, well, I guess as Rune murdered him, I was just like, yeah. I mean, like I didn't know that I really wanted this, but now that I have it, like yes, I will eat this slice of chocolate cake. It was so great. I was like, oh, way better than a redemption arc. So much better. Yeah.
And also for Bryce to kill the Stag King.
Oh yeah.
Stag.
Yes, especially for Rune to kill his dad. Like I really liked that. Like that was a great moment for him to be able to just like
Mhm.
end that like torment and that awful childhood.
Well, and the whole speech he gave leading up to it, or is it after? I don't remember if the Autumn King's dead or wherever in the part it happens where he's like, you guys, like I think it was while he was doing it where he was like, I lied about what the Oracle said to me.
He did the mind speak to the
Yeah.
Autumn King and
Yes.
to everyone, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that was
So
such a
good.
good scene.
His whole like at one point I thought it meant that I was gonna die, and now I know that it means that like I'm just not carrying on your line. Like I will bow to the queen. I renounce my title. And I loved how he just like looked me in the eyes and was like, I will live well without you. I was like, yes, like thank you for finally realizing like what we've all known since like chapter 5. Like, Rune, you're not gonna die. Like you're probably like definitely one of the best characters, probably my favorite character of this whole series. You're not going anywhere. Like it's not happening.
He's my favorite.
Yeah. Yeah. So happy for him. It was such a good moment.
Yeah.
But yeah, so are we good with Hunt now? Because I feel like they're in a much better place. Like I feel like they did a really good job like communicating and talking it out. And it's not like Hunt's like, yeah, I'm like good now. Like I totally see it, but I feel where they know now that they're like they're in it together and they're gonna get through this together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also
did-
loved how the end of this section felt very much like a really nice ending to a book. And then I was like, we've got like 300 more pages. Oh boy.
I know we said we weren't going to talk about Throne of Glass, and I don't think this is a spoiler, but it gave me such Aelin vibes. Like,
That's fine. You can say that.
I can
All of
say-
us who have read it will agree with you and clap, and then we're gonna not say anything else. Yes. Yes, you're right. Yeah.
Wait,
Yeah, go ahead. Go
can
ahead, Jamie.
we talk about how wrong we were about Hunt's parentage?
So
father.
wrong.
So wrong.
Not a god. No.
His reaction was my reaction. Like, what? And then was it Apollyon and Thanatos or whatever? Like, what? Two dads.
I loved when later on he's like, I'm like a demon test tube baby. I was like, you
Yes.
are. It's so
I
cute.
highlighted that.
Like, oh my goodness. When they just like rode up in the boat and it was Apollyon that was like, you know, there you are, son. I was like, what?
I actually really appreciate him in that whole entire scene because it's another scene where it's more info dump. And I can barely grasp from the last time we had another info dump. So Hunt will just be there and just like, so what do we need to do? So this is the next step. Like I'm like, yes, Hunt, thank you for asking.
Break it down for us, buddy. Break it down.
Explain it to me like I'm 5.
Yes. Yeah. But I thought it was awesome. I thought it was really cool and it made a lot of sense that like Hell created Hunt to basically make it so that he can power up Bryce just in case she like didn't get all of the pieces of magic to be able to defeat the Asteri. Like that's so cool. I loved that. And then like learning about the Thunderbirds, how they were like their other little like Hunt fail safes just in case like Hunt didn't work out. They were trying to like spread people that had lightning to potentially power up Bryce. I was like, this is so convoluted, but I'm here for it. Like I'm here for this history lesson.
I'm glad he also asked about like, does that mean like our mates thing isn't, real? But no, it is.
Yeah. And even later on, Bryce is like, I think it was when he made like the demon test tube baby comment, but she was like, no, like his soul is mine and my soul is his. And it's like, yeah, he might have started off as being like a weapon power up, but like that's not who you are. I loved it. Oh, and just honestly, I can't say enough about the banter. Like, if for some reason you're watching this and you haven't read it, you have to at least go read this section. Like, just the number of one-liners that Bryce had. I had to stop myself from tabbing all of them because I would have run out of tabs like way, way long ago. Just so funny. Like, she really hit her stride again. And saying that too, I'm thinking back to like when I wasn't having as much fun when she was with Nesta and Az. I love that she thought back to them and was like, we could probably be friends. Like they were cool. And I'm so glad that that is the takeaway. Not like, oh, they were awful and they could have tortured me. It was like, no, like they were badass. We could be friends.
I feel like the other big reveal we got right away. Like there were a few things we got right away and I was like, didn't see that one. The Jessica thing?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, her just like, wait, her being like
50,000 years old?
Did we know that from the last section? They're all melding together. Have we talked about this yet?
We haven't talked about this yet. This happened
But
in
she's
this
been
section.
around since before the Asteri.
She's one of the humans in the city that they absolutely demolished. Well, the one city they hadn't demolished yet, but like the fact she was a librarian for it makes a lot of sense. And like I tossed it around in my head like and never said anything. But then I was like, she'd be a human. That doesn't make any sense. Absolutely
No.
not. And threw it out. But then of course Apollyon came and was just like, those are weapons. Books, weapons.
Yeah. It all made total sense and I loved it. And I think that was probably one of the biggest reasons why we never went down that route. I mean, first, like we didn't really know that like I guess we kind of knew about the humans that got wiped out when Midgard was taken over, but like of course none of them would still be alive. And like we all knew she was a witch that defected, but it's like I guess not really. And just so interesting, like the different levels that keep being uncovered in this world. Just like my mind sometimes is just spinning, and I'm like, what did I just read? Like what just happened?
I love her. I want to know more.
Think there's something that's gonna happen with Ethan and Jessica? Is it just me that's reading the flirting, or is there flirting?
There's a lot of flirting. And I think the reason that you're questioning it, Elena, because I also question it and like read some of their like interactions a few times, is because like that is just like Jessica and Ethan. Like they are not being different people around each other. It's just like you catch on how like somehow the two of them work really well. And I'm like, I would never in my entire life have thought this would be the mashup. Like was kind of upset about Sigrid dying. I was like, there was a chance there, and Ethan was like super into her. And the minute he was with Jessica, I was like, oh, never mind. Like like you guys were kind of convincing me in the last episode that like we shouldn't have Sigrid come back, and I was like, I was on the train, and now I'm very much on the train. Like even pre like what happened with her, but the minute he and Jessica were hanging out, I was like, oh, I was wrong this whole time. Like I found her. This is Ethan's girl.
The only take I felt valid in from last episode at all was the whole Sigrid plot. I was
No,
like,
Sigrid.
okay, so I was right again. I feel so valid. This is never gonna end well. She should go back to being dead. Let's just let her be dead.
Yeah. Oh my god. And you know,
But
like there was still a part of me that thought like she had to fight for her life in the Viper Queen fight. And like I didn't really love how like cutthroat she was being, but I was like, okay, like we're still in the baby stages of teaching you how to be a nice person. But with that whole thing, like deciding to become a what? Like a Reaper? Is that
Yeah.
is it
yeah,
Reaper,
which
Revenant?
no
What?
one guessed, right, that she would be like we had a feeling she had to
No.
come back, but
No.
no.
What? Also, is Hypaxia just bad at necromancy, or does she just keep getting like tough cases?
I'm glad we got confirmation that she and Celestina broke up though.
Yes. I also was just like, yes, girl, thank you. Was so proud of her for making that decision. I've
Which
always
is
loved
tough because
Hypaxia.
I always yeah, and I always thought like their romance was always kind of like one-sided. Like I think Hypaxa was giving more into the relationship than
Mhm.
Celestina, but also because Celestina is an archangel.
Right. And I think that was how we all assumed it was, is like, oh, well, Celestina just can't be with her because she's like been put in this forced relationship with this other guy and like has to keep like this public face. But it's like, no, she's just awful. She's just awful.
Yeah, no, she
Okay.
sucks.
Yeah. So no, very proud of Hypaxia. And I hope she does more. Like, I hope that she doesn't keep just getting like brought in for little scenes. Like I want her to have some big part in the end of this.
I feel bad for her ghosts.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, that was
yeah.
sad.
I felt like there was something more behind them. Like maybe they're someone important because there was three teachers.
Mm. You mean like another
And
character that they were that maybe?
maybe
Yeah,
there's some type of crossover that, you know,
who knows?
who knows?
I am really proud of Hypaxia and like everything that she did, but I couldn't help but agreeing with Jessica when she was like, I cannot believe that that girl did not fight for her crown and like she really needs to grow up. And I was like, yeah, I mean, I think that Hypaxia has still like a lot of growing to do, and I hope we get to see that.
I do too, and I am genuinely curious. I feel like we got a lot of weird little like thoughts from Ethan where he's like, "Wonder what you have to do to join the House of Flame and Shadows. Like, what do you have to promise the Under King?" It's like it can't be great. And I was like, "Ethan, please ask. Please ask the question. I also want to know."
Yeah. You mean for like, do you think he's going to defect to Flame and
No,
Shadow?
he's just worried about what like Hypaxia gave up.
Yeah.
I don't think he's gonna defect to Flame and Shadow, especially after seeing. I feel like everything he's been involved in with Flame and Shadow goes absolutely down the gutters. Is it Hypaxia's problem with necromancy or Ethan's involvement in necromancy that causes issues?
That is very interesting. It's a very interesting thought. Do we think that
Um,
Ethan is still going to try to like be the alpha, like take over and remake the whole like wolf clan?
yeah,
Yeah, so that was like one of my questions. Like, why does it have to be a Fender to be an alpha? So
It
is
doesn't.
okay. That's not like yeah.
Well,
Because like, why isn't he? You know, like you said, why couldn't he do it?
it's kind of like, why does the president of the United States have to be an old white guy? It's like it doesn't, but it just is most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's it. It's and like Jessica's kind of telling Ethan that she's like, yeah, I mean, basically the Asteri decided Fenders, and they have made it so that everything's happened. Like they made it so that Sabine kicked out her brother. They, made it so that Danica died. Like they're shaping all these monarchies into what they want it to be. And I think, we're finally at the point where it's like, nah, we're not going to do that anymore. So Ethan needs to realize that he is a powerful alpha wolf and just take over.
Which I think he's on the way of doing,
Yeah.
especially with the last scene that he was in, helping the humans in Asphodel
Yeah.
Meadows.
Asphodel Meadows. Oh,
Yeah, I love that change. Like
seriously,
when he recognized that he could do something.
where do Bryce's parents live? Do we know? That was my biggest question. After no, we're good.
they're
Okay,
out of the city. They're like in the country with her cute little adopted brother.
cool.
Conrad? Conrad, right? Conrad. Yes.
I don't remember what her brother's name is.
I think his name is
Mia.
Conrad, and it's because, well, his like new name.
Oh, his new name.
Yeah.
His
Um,
witness protection name.
yes, his witness protection. His Ophian protection name. I think it's Conrad. Because I forget at one point somebody was listing like all the people. Oh, I think it was Baxian like listing all the good people to Bryce, and I think he listed Conrad. And at first I was like, who? And then I was like, oh, right. Little adopted brother. Too many characters. Yeah. Yeah. So I think Ethan's in a good place. And I really do like him with Jessica. And I liked that moment where, Jessica had sort of already told him about, I'm trying to figure out how to basically break the spell on me so that I can die, essentially, is what I got from it. But then she mentions, she's like, I want to figure out how to do it before I get to that point so that I won't like chicken out, basically. And I was like, or maybe someone can give you a reason to at least like, I don't know, stick around for like another couple hundred years or, as long as he's around. Just maybe. Just maybe.
Wow, but if we're going on the timeline, that 15,000 years, that's a long time.
It is.
Long time.
Yeah,
Although
I
I was
don't.
eating all of their interactions up, and like every time she was on the scene, I would just get so excited. So there's
yeah.
another moment that I could get to know her more.
Yeah. Remember when we were afraid she wasn't going to be in this book? I think it was only in like the first episode, but we were like, where's Jessica? Like, we've been waiting for her for so long. And I'm
I'm
so
pretty
glad that we got
sure
more.
when she showed up, we were all just yelling, Jessica!
The minute he walked down those stairs and she opened the door, I was like, yes, thank you.
Yeah.
I think it's so clever how Sarah set it up, where like there's the bait and switch with Sigrid, where you're like, oh, is this it? And then she dies, and it's like, oh, this has all been a giant plot device to get Ethan to hang out with Jessica. Cool, 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 cool. Love it, 100%.
Just the layers of weird red herrings and that I'm not mad about. Like, was totally into him being with Sigrid, was like, yeah, Sigrid's gonna make a great like change for the wolves. And now I'm like, oh, I see where we were going with this the whole time. Like another person who I'm super upset that his like I think dragon crush is who knows where, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh no, poor Therian, where's Ariadne? And then all of a sudden we meet a brand new character we've never heard before. He gets married to her, and I am sold. Like page 1, I'm like, you know what? Yeah.
Let's go. Forced marriage equals
I
they're
dig
together
it.
forever.
When they put
forever.
what was it? It was like there was only one bed. Although it was pretty tame, but still.
No, but like the nice tame one bed where
Yes.
it was like we're both married and like we definitely didn't want to be. And he's like, you can take the bed and like, I don't expect anything. And I loved when she laughed and was like, me neither. I was like, oh, I love her. She's just
Awkward he
girlfriend.
was. Like, so awkward when he's like, so what's your favorite color?
No, that was so cute.
I love that though.
Oh,
We're
when
getting to know each other.
Yeah, because at first she's just like, this is my name. And he's like, yeah, and she's like, what else is there? And I just love how, like, he's like, what's your favorite color? And she was like, oh, like he wants to know about me. I was like, yeah, he does.
I think she really
cool.
sold me. She's so cool. I think she really sold me when she talked back to Bryce. And I was like, yes.
Yeah.
The only thing that makes me nervous is that Flynn doesn't like her. That Flynn is so like anti his sister. It like
He's her
makes
big
me
brother, though. That like totally checks out to me. Like his spoiled little sister. Like I totally, but still, he was like, Therian, she is my sister. Like, so cute. Also, like the number of times that he protected her in the caves, just like they were very small moments, but where he was just like, he would get in front of her or like be right next to her, and just loved that.
That's
like,
my wife.
Yeah, it was so cute. Like we've only been married for like 2 days, and I've only known her for slightly longer than that, and I was just like, oh, like And they had that moment where I forget like what exactly they were talking about, but it was like oh, we can figure out how to get this dissolved. And then they basically were both like, or not.
Yes.
Or not is an option. And I was like, yeah, or not.
Love that he did it for his sister. Like the fact that he would have wanted someone to do the
Yes.
same thing for his sister. I was like,
Yeah.
that. I love that Therian acknowledges all the bad choices he's made and is like, no, it's one thing I can do. Like, I can act how I would want someone to have acted for my sister.
Exactly.
What a change in him after the end of Sky and Breath. Because I clearly remember how we all felt about him at the
Oh.
end. Like we were so disappointed in Fish Boy. And now look at him making all these bad decisions, but like for a good reason.
Yeah, we were so angry with him. And like I think we were still justified because that was not his best moment. Like and I think
Mm-mm.
it was because we really loved him. And like now I'm back on the Therian train and like
Yes.
I love him again and like I love his perseverance and his determination to just like get through it. But yeah, it was just like his moment of weakness where, we all saw the like, buddy, you've got friends that you can go to. And like they've even said that multiple times, like, why didn't you come to us? But like I get that it was still new to him and he didn't understand that he had a support system and he didn't know where he could turn. And that was the only thing he could think of.
Yeah. The scene when they get to Avalon and is it Moravin? Is that how you say his name?
I've been saying Morvin.
I would say more
The
than.
scene where Morvin like shuts him down at one point because he's disgraced, and Bryce is like, "Everyone that's disgraced, can you just like raise your hand?" And everyone's like, and then she goes, "Okay, Deck, Flynn, wait, Flynn and Deck. It's Flynn
Flynn
and
and
Deck, right?"
Declan. They're the only two. They're the only two that haven't been like disgraced or disowned by their parents. It's just like,
And she's
yep.
like, "Okay, there are spokespeople now," and they're the spokespeople for like 2 minutes before they're like, "Okay, Bryce, can you take it back over?"
So good. She's so spicy. God, I love her so much. It was so nice to have all of her little badass moments. Yeah. But yeah, so Therian's good. I think he's good. I'm really happy for him. And I really do like Cynthia. Like I think she's like a good match for him because she's not gonna like take his shit and she's not gonna just like let him pout or like she's not gonna let him hide. Like I totally see the two of them being like, okay, fine, let's go tell the Ocean Queen where she can shove it and like we're gonna go help our friends.
Yeah, and it's another
Oh,
I was just gonna say it's another female character, and I need more female like character friendships and
Yeah.
Lydia too. I love the Lydia Bryce moments. I loved it.
Yeah.
Elena, what were you gonna say?
no, what you said was better. I agree. We need more female characters. I was gonna bring up I'm concerned about how they're getting off this island to get back to the mainland when they can't go over the ocean.
Yeah. I mean, or do we just like basically tell the Ocean Queen, like, hey, sis, like, just ended two other monarchs, like, don't want to threaten you, but like, maybe we could be friends. Like, maybe we could just be cool. Like, here's Therian. I'm going to reintroduce him to you. Let's pretend like he gets a clean slate now. I don't know.
Maybe there's some bribery or some kind of negotiation to be done because obviously the Ocean Queen doesn't want anything to do with the Asteri. So maybe
Yeah.
they can keep that and work something out to work together.
Or like maybe we just winnow slash what do they call it here? Direct
Teleport.
teleport. Thank you. Like the
Really
normal
teleport.
the normal human word that I just can't because in my
Is
mind
it
every time they say teleport, my brain just like whites it out and puts in winnow. Like maybe Bryce just winnows them.
Sure.
Teleports. She winnow teleports them to Asphodel Meadows.
Well, and it also
can
sounds like
she
they're about to set up a base on Avalon. Like they're about to have everyone
Yes.
come to them for a little bit.
Yeah.
I like how it like the island just came back to life. Like that was such a cool moment.
I did have the thought in my mind because they were saying how like this, it was styled off of the caves in the prison. And I had the thought where like Avalyn like came back to life after Bryce like took the magic from it. But like, why didn't that happen at the prison? And or did it and we just didn't see it because we stayed in the caves? And like, will this now have an effect in Prithian where like, are we gonna get the Dusk Court back? Because it's not just like a barren prison island. Like, are we also gonna find that like other islands pop up?
Certain. I think it could go either way, that they were either
Hmm.
underground, so we don't know, or it's just based on the fact there's still a ton of evil at the prison because everyone is still locked up there.
That's true. Yeah, I'm interested to see like what the fallout of that is and if anything else happened. But I had that thought where I was like, because I think for a while we've presumed that the prison and the Dusk Court were the same, and I'm just wondering if this is going to like free the Dusk Court to be more than just the prison.
Maybe.
But yeah, I loved Evelyn like coming back to life. That was really nice. And like the idea that, hey, like, let's get people over here. And part of me has to believe that the Ocean Queen is gonna like be on board because of what she said about like save as many people as you can. Like this is when you go to the Ocean Queen and you say, like, okay, we have an option now. So like if you start quietly getting people over here, they'll be safe. Like, walk the walk, don't talk the talk.
No, I think it's going to be a complete overhaul of all leadership in this city, and
Mm,
the Ocean Queen is included.
yeah, start fresh. I like that.
I don't have any other thoughts or theories that I'm allowed to talk about right now.
Nothing else? Is that it? Have we I feel like we're missing something because there was a lot. There was a lot. Almost twice as much as usual, which is already a lot. So this was like a lot.
I have a lot of theories. I'm just not allowed to talk about them in this section.
How do we not talk about how Lydia has sons?
Yes. See, I knew there was something. Elena, you're just too excited. You're too excited.
Because I read that and I was like, she has sons?
We'll talk about it again later after we give our warning, but we have to talk about the fact that she has kids, which I totally surprised.
Totally.
I was surprised she has kids. That's shocking. I have no more thoughts or feelings.
It was definitely too obvious to assume that the kids or the father was Pollux. Like it came in my mind. I was like, no, that's too easy. That's too easy. And I thought Regulus didn't want that to happen because I'm like, how would that timeline work? So she didn't not until they were 18 months. So like I'm trying to think like how did she hide the pregnancy? Also, how does pregnancy work in this world?
Yeah, how long is a deer shifter pregnancy? Like
Right.
human 9 months? 12 months? 3? Who knows?
None of my guesses were right. Any of yours?
You know what? It could have possibly been because we were on a time crunch for finishing this book. But I was like, I'm gonna try not to think about it like too much because I knew it wasn't Pollux and I figured it had to be someone in her previous life. I immediately was worried it was like her dad, which like huge ew. Or like someone in her dad's circle. And I was like, you know what? No matter what, I don't love it. So I'm just gonna keep going. But no, it did not foresee like the like fertility rite thing. Like that was a very interesting added like world building piece. It's like, okay. Huh.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that either.
Yeah. But I mean, like even more than that, because I think the other thing why I stopped like trying to really analyze it was like I genuinely don't care who their dad is. Like I just thought it was really nice to see like this part of Lydia. Like we've learned so much about Lydia and like not only has she been like a rebel like through this whole thing of being the hind, but she's been protecting 2 children while doing this and just like knowing that there was a possibility that she would never see them again, knowing there was a good possibility, like obviously like she's not getting them back. Like they're not hers anymore and like I would love to see a point in time where she can be a part of their lives and at least like, go to their school play or like, see is it Brand's like the big sports one, like the like, just like I would love to see her be a part of it, but just like the extreme sacrifice that this woman has gone through for most of her life, just like even more. I was like, oh my goodness. Like, I hope I grow up to be you one day. Like, I hope I don't go through what you went through, but I hope I can have an ounce of like your character. It's amazing.
True. The watching the scene where she like rips out her IVs and starts running down the hallway, like just the
Yeah.
thought process of like where is she going? What's happening to like the doorways being listed out to like seeing the kids, like that moment was shocking.
Yeah. I immediately thought, I was like, oh my goodness, like, is she on really bad terms with the Ocean Queen or like someone on the ship? Like, did she never plan to get on the ship? And then I'm like, but she planned this whole thing. Like, she can't. But I thought she was like running for her life. And then all of a
Yeah.
sudden, we're looking at 2 children, and I was like, you have got to be kidding me. Like, I'm sorry, what now? Like, yeah. I just love her. She's great.
She's also a favorite.
Yeah. I will also say, because I don't think that we touched on this, but as much as it hurt my heart, Lydia standing up for herself and like basically shutting Rune out for how awful he had been to her, I was so proud. I was like, I want the 2 of you to be together, but this is necessary. Like, you standing up for yourself, I am so proud. When she was like, you don't get to hear the story. And I was like, yeah, Rune. Like, you have to earn the story. You have to earn the right to hear the story. And he did, but I was
Yeah,
I was
I
so proud of
stickied
her.
that moment when
Yeah.
she's like, "You literally don't deserve to hear my background." And
Yeah.
he was like,
And he
"What?"
didn't. And
Proud
it's
of
like
her.
I get his reactions too. Like, I totally understand that they both, like, it was not ideal, but I just love that they could like work together to get there in the end.
I'm so happy that she can be like her true self finally and
Yeah.
not have to hide. She can let her emotions out. And like when she was breaking down in front of Rune, oh,
Yeah.
freaking.
And I just would love to see the scene, whether it's like it's definitely not at the end of this book, but if it's at the end of the next book, or I don't know if it's supposed to be 4 or 5 books long. I think 5 maybe, but like I would just love to see the scene of like her getting together with her boys again and like them realizing that she's a hero. Like, and like Bran's already like kind of there. Like, I think he gets it, and like I just can't wait to see Ace be like, okay, like, yeah, like, you want to see the experiment I've been working on, just like something where he like they get that, like, wow, like our mom's really cool, and
It's
like
so
she's
funny.
made our world better.
Yeah, it's so funny because like when they first described the boys, I thought Ace would be more accepting
Mm,
of Lydia. Instead, it's the opposite with the
yeah,
boys. I don't know if you guys had the same thought too.
I think my mind was just spinning. I wasn't already like deciding which one it would work out with. It definitely like caught me off guard when Ace was like so against her, I
Yeah.
guess. But like I understand it. Like, they obviously like they knew they were adopted, but they didn't like know who, none of them knew who their mom was until like that day. So I get it's like a lot. It's a lot to process.
And
Honestly,
she
like
gave,
Bran being so open was probably more shocking. Like him just,
yeah.
being cool with it.
Hmm. And she gave them her family heirloom.
Yeah. Like maybe we come back and Ace like wears it on a chain or something. Like maybe he like realized
Oh,
after the fact that he like lost his one chance to like, say something nice to his mom, and he's regretting it. Also, can I just say that I love their dads? And like I know we don't really see the one of them, but like the one dad that we see a lot of, I'm just like, I love this. I love that,
love it.
it's just like 2 awesome dads. Like they've done a great job for these 2 boys. And it's like, and if Lydia could like fit into that family to just be a part of their lives, I think it would just be fantastic. They'd just have 3 awesome parents.
Yeah, the last speech with them, oh, heartbreaking. Saying like she was like proud of them and
I'm
everything.
not crying. It was so good. It was just
So
so good.
good.
It was so good. Oh, fine. I love you, Lydia. All right, next. What else
Oh.
are we talking about? This is only the second time that this book has made me cry. Oh my
What
goodness.
else? I think that's it, right?
All of my other thoughts and theories have to do with Throne of Glass.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, everything else is
Yeah. All
mass
right. Well,
burst.
we'll switch over. So if you've read all of Throne of Glass, or somehow you're not anti-spoiler, which it hurts me, but like, I mean, I'm not going to tell you no. You have to press the pause button yourself. Come on over with us and we'll chat about some Throne of Glass stuff. Otherwise, sign off, go finish some books, and then come back and watch this. But yeah. Elena, take it away. What do you want to start with?
We're talking about the twins. Brannon, like, you're telling me you don't think that's connected somehow? Like, it's just a casual, very similar name. After we
Explain
get
to
so much
us.
stag iconography. Like, so much stag iconography leading up, surrounding all of these scenes. Then, like, Bran's name connects to Brannon. They keep referencing the fact he has firepower. They literally use the descriptor wildfire at some point. Like, what?
Hmm.
And that's
Lydia?
Brannon Gallinasis. Gallina.
Yeah.
I can't say it.
Galathinius.
That wasn't even close.
And
No,
I
you
will
were.
say, I read it and I thought like the name was exactly the same. I forgot that in Throne of Glass it's Brannon and not Bran, and I could not for the life of me wrap my head around how it was the same character. I was like, how do we have a younger version of an 1,000-year-old person from Throne of Glass when, like, based on the things we've seen from ACOTAR, it seems like Throne of Glass, ACOTAR, and this were kind of happening at the same timelines in their worlds. So like I was mind blown. But now I'm wondering if it's more of a family name. I don't know.
I don't know either. I love the theory. And I think you had voiced that before I had read the part where she like breaks down, because we were kind of I think guessing that it might be him before I got to the chapter where Lydia's like breaking down the whole like fertility rite thing. So it's like she clearly didn't go like it's I don't think that it is like Brannon, but I'm wondering if it's like Brannon's line. But I will also point out that I think Lydia has firepower too. Like it seems like it's inside of her. Like even Rune brings up the like why do you come to me as like a
Yeah.
wreathed in flames. But I do wonder like if Lydia or the person that Lydia had the kids with is like descended from the Galathinius line.
I don't know why it took me so long to figure out that she's a deer shifter and that somehow that's related to stags in Throne of Glass
Yeah.
until they like actually start talking about like, oh, I just hooked up with some random stag. It's a random stag fertility thing. Which I feel like has to be related to the fact that the Asteri try and control the lion. So like this fertility rite is somehow their way of like negating that. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I think it's a really good theory. I did also think, like, the minute they were talking about weird fertility rate, I was like, Calamine? What? Like, and I don't think that it's Calamine, but it seems like that might be where it came from.
Yeah, I think you're onto something. That something in her family line is like related to Throne of Glass.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then, yeah, Elena, like you were saying with all the stag stuff in Avalon, I think we were all like, oh my goodness, are we going to Terrasen? And it wasn't, but it's like, it's definitely uh like Terrasen-esque. Like,
I like that you went there though.
yeah, I got excited. It doesn't take much. I got very excited.
You did.
No, if the fertility rite happened in human form or stag form. Because I think it might have happened in stag form. And just hear me out. Okay. It matters. It matters how it happened. Because why are we throwing around that Mavellan is the stag king and Ace has black hair? Like Ace's hair is like super dark.
Oh, that Morven is the Stag King?
Yeah.
It's not Morven. No. Gross. No.
No, because he's Fae and
So she.
the father. Well, yeah, like, but like Morven isn't a shifter. It had to be
Oh, he's
it was
not?
because she specifically said a stag shifter.
Yeah.
He's
Oh,
not
I
a
guess.
shifter.
Okay.
Well, that we know of, and I think at one point somebody makes the comment like, why does he even call himself the Stag King? Like it's a weird
Mhm.
I think it's Lydia. She's like upset about him calling himself that.
Yeah.
I feel like she would have recognized him too. Like, I feel like that would be a really long shot to think that the two of them like did the deed in the woods and then like don't
Yeah.
recognize
The
each other.
fertility rite was like already arranged. She knew nothing about the other half or their families, just that they had to come together, do the deed. That
Just
far
quickie.
apart. Yeah.
No, that's
Unfortunately,
fair.
no.
I just feel like it's weird that he's called the Stag King and has a throne made out of antlers, and the boat that goes there has a stag head. Like, can we just
Oh.
talk? Like, what?
Yeah, no, it's very weird. But like we also know that people from Aurelia like came to Midgard. So like it could just be that. I feel like there's more. But
Wasn't there like maybe I'm misremembering this, but when Ethan went down to the house of Flame and Shadow, there was also another
Yeah,
stag
there were.
white? Okay.
Mhm,
yeah,
I think so.
they're
And there were
What's
a
everywhere.
that
bunch of
about?
random weird markings.
So many random weird markings.
Weird.
No, I mean like all signs point to like I feel like Sarah can't just possibly be like cute like Terracent Easter eggs. It's like, no, we've got to go there at some point. Or like people have to come over. Like there's got to be some crossover. Because multiple times, and I don't know if you guys kept picking up on this, but they kept being like, well, we kind of need an army. Well, we kind of need more people. Well, we might need more magic wielders if we're going to take on the Asteri. Like, we got to go find people, and they're not on this planet. Yeah.
Great intro to my second most unhinged theory.
Go
which
on.
is-
Wait, is it the second of your most unhinged theories, or is it your second most unhinged theory?
This is my most unhinged theory. This
Oh,
is
good.
my second theory, but it is the most unhinged one.
I can't wait. Give it to
Take
me.
it away.
So Bryce has everything she needs to defeat the Asteri. Like, she has all of her power. Like, okay, but like, unless something big goes, like, as far as we know, she's gotten everything she needs. Hypothetically, there's a scenario she defeats the Asteri in this book. I think it's possible, and I
Okay.
just think she's gonna let the princes of hell into Midgard, and that they're not gonna be good dudes. They're quite bad dudes who also happen to be Valg. That's my theory. It is all. I will stand by it. I have evidence. It looks like you agree.
I had
thought
the
I was
thought
gonna have to
too.
argue that one.
I didn't love it. Yeah. Yeah, no, I had the thought too, especially when the Princes of Hell were like, "Yeah, so like let us in." And she's like, "Yeah, I'll let all 7 of you in." And they were like, "Well, 4 of them are like doing stuff other places." And I was like, "What?"
It was like another. And they smirked at each other and then moved on. Right after talking about how Hunt's crown was like colors that used to be used.
Brooke called it. She called it.
She
I
did
didn't
call
love it. The minute they were like, "Well, there used to be collars," I was like, "I know they did."
Elaine and I texted each other the same moment, and we're like, Brooke was right.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I don't love it, but yes. The minute they said that, I hadn't put 2 and 2 together yet, and I'm still like, I'm not 1,000% sure that they are the Valg. Because I think like the other thing that I keep going back and forth with is now they're calling Brace a World Walker. And I think it's very interesting because one of the things we were talking about in the last episode that you brought up, Elena, was like, did the Valg ever really like suck power from people? And it was like, well, no, they didn't really. So like maybe the Valg aren't the Asteri. But then like Jamie had a really good point where like they're all doing their own thing at a different time. So maybe it's that. Then I was like, yeah, but now Bryce has like the same power and is being considered a world walker. She's definitely not an Asteri. Like, oh no, they're different, aren't they?
Remember she joked about being the 7th Asteri? Remember
Yes.
that?
Yes. 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 So yeah, do we think that's what it is? Do we think that like the Valg are from hell and that they are not the Asteri?
I think I've been saying that for a really long time, and I got shot down for a really long time. But I think this brings it back, and I have in fact been looking at. So at first I was like, oh, the 4 are over in Throne of Glass world, like, because there's 4 kings over there, but there's not. There's 3 kings, which made me feel weird because we currently have 3 that we're interacting with. But the thing that doesn't ring with me, the thing I can't wrap my head around is that Adas doesn't seem that bad. I
Yeah,
don't
but you
know.
know who the 4th is, right?
Who?
Maeve?
It's Maeve.
But
That's
she
what I
wasn't a
thought
king.
too.
They
Yeah.
always refer to them as princes, never like prince. And also the fact it's
But
princes and not
that would
kings.
totally be the twist though, right? They'd be like, well,
Yeah,
we had to induct Maeve because she proved herself.
maybe. I don't know. But Adas doesn't seem that bad out of all of them.
He doesn't.
Well,
And I
and
mean,
He
like,
doesn't, but he also, I don't know if that's like a bad judgment to judge how he ended up with Thea.
it is. No, that's fair. When he was
Yeah.
like, but I loved her, and she like figured it out in the end. I'm like, yeah, she was pretty awful, bud.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, you could say that he saw the good in her, but
How much did he have to look past to get there, though? And I think, do you guys agree now that like hell is definitely a different planet, like definitely a different place? Like, are we thinking for sure that it's not part of Aurelia or the planet that Prithian is on?
I don't think so. But maybe
Yeah,
their hell still has grass.
maybe. Why does hell have grass? End of Sky
Also,
and Breath thoughts.
can we say I think Elena said this too, but like how did we not put 2 and 2 together that the Cave of Princes is the princes of hell?
I had no idea because they were just like the Starborn princes go in there, and I was like, yep.
Yeah.
yeah, right? Well, and here's the other thing for why I think they're evil. Like I have a list of reasons. The other one is that Helena set up this cave so she could talk to them, and like the wording is very specific to like protect her mind and soul from the princes. And then Adas is like, yeah, she was pretty smart. And then I think it's Apollyon was like, you just talked too much. And like I took that to mean she knew she needed to protect herself from them because her mom was in, like, she just would have heard. So
Yeah, I got creepy vibes too, and like I've wanted to like them since we met them because it's like, oh yeah, like hell is always bad, but like maybe
mhm.
it's good in this place, and like I want it to be good, and I still think that they've been really helpful, and I think they want to get rid of the Asteri, but I did also start thinking like, why do they want to get rid of the Asteri on this other planet so bad? Like I kept thinking like what is your motivation to go through all this trouble of like creating a lightning magic power up and like doing all this? Like they're not in your hair anymore. What do you want? You want another planet. You want a planet.
Is this where I read to you the wiki articles I was reading on
No,
Valak today?
not. How dare you?
No, this isn't a spoiler. This is about Valak. This is Throne of Glass facts. I swear to God, please.
It has nothing to do with this book.
No, it's all Throne of Glass. It's the Throne of Glass wiki. It doesn't.
It doesn't say
It
like,
doesn't.
the Valg,
No,
aka the Princes of Hell.
no. It
All
goes.
right. All right,
The
continue.
Val the Valak hail from an unnamed home dimension. Their world was originally inhabited by other creatures, but the 3 Valak kings waged a war to end all wars that lasted 1,000 years and ended with the world being completely conquered by the Valg. And they destroyed the planet in the process. Which is weird because Bryce goes to some weird hellscape and she's like, this seems like it sucks. And they were like, oh, don't worry about it. This is just what it is. It's fine.
It's so shady.
Yeah.
So sus.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I believe you.
Also, both Apollyon and I did look them up on Wiki as well, Apollyon and Thanatos, which is good because no one's updated the wiki since this book came out. Actually, no one's really updated them since Hosab came out.
Good. That's good for you.
Their I was willing to risk it just so I had the facts.
Risked it for the biscuit.
Both of them are described as having dark black-like eyes.
Mm.
And which is the other thing I can't figure out with Adas because his eyes are blue. So like he's the one that doesn't fit, and I haven't been able to like suss that out.
May I propose a secondary theory?
No.
No, it's to
Okay.
add on because I do think you're right. And honestly, I will right now apologize for all the times that I told you were wrong and that the
Okay,
Valg
thank
were the
you.
Asteri. I was just
I
so
appreciate
sure.
that.
I will make you apology cookies. Absolutely not this week because this week is insane. But next week, I'll make you apology cookies. What if we've got the three? We've got the three boys, three princes of hell here. We've got the three over in Aurelia. Is our last one the one that's currently causing terror in Prithian? Do we know? Do we have a description?
Like, you think it's Kochi?
Yeah. They
I
said
don't remember him.
planets, plural. And I do agree with you, Elena, that they do seem like they would not allow Maeve to be a prince and consider her to be a brother.
She's also dead, isn't she?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So here's my theory, as I've been digging into the wikis. So
Continue.
I think the kings are different than the princes. Like, I still think there's 3 kings, we just haven't heard about them in Crescent City. Like, those are separate. Then there's the princes, and we know there's a ton of those in Throne of Glass. But we, like, never would get the prince's names, so you never knew when it was the same prince. Like, you could never get, like, a clear count of who the princes were. And when I was doing my wiki deep dive, it, like, started describing the Valg, and it was like the Valg princes specifically are cold and calculating, and they delight in emotional pain as well as physical. Four Valg princes forced Aelin to relive her worst memories during the attacks on Mistward. I was like, weird that it's 4. Just weird that it's like a casual 4. That's a weird number to reference when we're missing 4 princes. And then all the rest of the times they're just here and there and whatnot. So
I love it. I love it so much. Yeah. I really think like it's because I was so sure that Hell was going to be the good guys,
Mhm.
but it wasn't until I also had the same thought that I was like, wow, it seems like Bryce is like good to go, but they're still asking to be let through the Northern Rift. Why?
Yeah.
I
Like,
don't feel good about it.
uh-huh. And then, yeah,
Mm.
also on the wiki, it says that Apollyon is described as a golden-haired, gold-skinned male with black eyes, Bryce likened to an unending darkness.
Amazing.
Um,
I love it.
Also, one of the descriptions of I think of Erewhon describes him as having feline grace, which did give me the concern.
I mean, yeah, that would be Adis, right? Because he can turn
Yeah.
into a cat.
Um, I
So
don't know.
interesting.
But anyway, I am convinced that it's the same in some way. Whether or not these overlap directly with them or it's just the same world, it's definitely like the same peoples. They definitely want Midgard as their new planet, and
Mhm.
I think Bryce has all the power she needs to take out the Asteri within this book, if not early next book, which leaves us with at least one more whole book of conflict with someone.
Yeah, the like when you let in the people that you think are going to help you, but they end up potentially being worse. Yeah. And like
Yeah.
honestly, I can totally see them coming in and like helping get rid of the Asteri. And then like the poor broken Midgard is just like ripe for the taking.
You get a collar, and you get a collar, and every collar. Well, and also they kept referencing the fact that the collars don't work on them.
Yeah.
Like, they were like, "Oh, it just doesn't work on us. Don't worry about it."
Yeah. I think that would be the last thing that I need to figure out though is like, so if Regulus can make a crown collar, how does he have that technology? Yeah, I don't know.
Well, because my interpretation was that it came from the Asteri, like that technology. Because
Mm.
I think Apollyon or someone says it like that they used it against them when they took over that world, and then they found a way to subvert it, and then I think the the princes or Valg then found a way to repurpose that technology so that they
Mhm.
could mind jump. Like, I think the technology started with the Asteri and then was reused.
And then the Valg, like, used it for
Yeah.
their own purposes to, like, take over someone's body, not just
Yeah.
control them from the outside. So
Yeah.
interesting.
That
Yeah. I
I
love
like your
it.
theory, Elena.
I feel very strongly about this. I thought I was gonna have to do more work at convincing.
No.
No, you
No,
can.
I love it so hard. It's great. And like I think it was a lot of when we were going through Throne of Glass, like that we kept trying to figure out how the Asteri and the Valg lined up. And I feel like there were a lot of times where we were like, they've got to be the same, but there's this. And we just couldn't figure out how it worked. Right. And I think it's just that they weren't. So I love this theory.
The other option is that if they're not the Val princes or Val kings or whatever, then maybe Sarah is setting it up as like another series that
Mhm.
she's working on.
Yeah. Like another series that she's told us that she's going to be starting.
With another planet.
Has to be in the Mossverse. But no, I think this would be a really good way to like, their connection with Prithian is because they've beaten out the Asteri, and now their connection to Throne of Glass will be like, oh hey, like we got rid of one awful like tyrant, and now we've got another, and we need help from the only planet that's been able to get rid of the Valg.
Yeah.
I love it so much.
It's my entire soapbox, and I feel validated because I think out of everyone, I brought up the Valg being the princess from hell quite a bit.
You did.
You did all the time, and I was just like, no, man. Princes are cool. They're different princes. Like, but no, this is I love it.
Glad
I
that we're
think
all
we'll be
getting
really
creepy.
bummed if they turn out to be bad.
Still?
No, I mean like they're good in helping them get rid of the Asteri, but bad because it's for their own motivations.
Oh,
Well,
I'm gonna
and
be bummed too, but it's gonna be epic.
I don't know. That's what I'm expecting to happen now. And I just feel like for
Yeah.
a while we've had a lot of questions like, but why are they helping? With like, yeah, sure he wants to avenge Thea, but like everyone else question mark? Like there just seems to
Yeah,
be a big like motivation missing.
the big like empty world really made me concerned as well. I was just like,
No, afterlife. Don't worry about it. Don't look at it too hard.
yeah. They're like, oh no, they're elsewhere. I'm like, are they? I didn't get good vibes, and at the time I did not know like what it might mean, but I was like, I don't love this. Yeah, amazing, Elena. I love it. I'm so excited. I hope that's
My
exactly how
soapbox.
it is. Yeah.
That is my entire theory. That's all I'm going with.
We're just gonna like keep our ears out for like the princes mentioning like the kings of hell and how like one of them definitely ate it, and we'll keep our eyes and ears peeled.
Yeah, and I just Helena specifically setting up a way to talk to them while keeping herself safe is a huge red flag. Like
Yeah.
big.
Yep.
Right, because like one of them would be kind of like her stepfather in a way.
Yeah. Like I don't know no reason to fear them except apparently there is.
Mm-hmm.
And again, there's just no reason for them to want to keep helping. Like I can get like if you've got a beef, but this is like a big thing to need to beat these guys that you've already beaten once.
Yeah, and I'll give it to Adas. Like he wants to revenge Thea. Also, we were always like, and Thea seems like a bad dude. Like why is Adas mated with her?
There you go. I love
Okay.
it.
I
I
promise
can't
that's
wait.
it. That's all of it.
I'm even more excited to keep reading now because this makes a lot of sense. Did we get everything? Is that it? Is that it?
What I saw wasn't really like a theory, it's more of like an observation. But when Bryce and Hunt had their like sexy time, and it with the way that it was described reminded me of Cara Nam from Throne of
Same.
Glass. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Immediately when they were like, "Ooh, our magic's melded to create maybe a more powerful magic," I was like, "Yeah, it did. Yeah, it did." Yeah.
you mentioned that because I read that and I was like, something weird's happening. I can't follow, but
Yeah, I think it's just like it's cool because I think it speaks to like Hunt was made to be this like power up device for her, but it's more than that now. And it's like their connection together that I think will allow her specifically to like have what she needs to beat the Asteri and then potentially beat another overlord. Oh my goodness, I wasn't even thinking that far. Yikes.
you follow that it feels like they can beat the Astera. Like she just got that third bit of power really,
Oh,
really
yeah.
fast for
She did.
the book to be.
No, and I the thought had been in the back of my mind that I was like, there's got to be another complicating factor. And I didn't know what it would be, but it makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
What was the power again? Starfire. What was the other one?
Well, it was like her original light, and then they said she got Starfire specifically when she took Celine's power. I don't know if there was a name for what she got from Thea at the end there. But I think it was just like the wielding of the light in like that way with the laser was Starfire.
Yeah, I don't know. There was like a name for it. I remember like highlighting it because I'm like, oh, Starfire, and then there was like another name for the one before it.
Oh, I don't know.
Starlight, right? Was that? I don't know. I'll get back to
Maybe.
it. I'll find
Yeah.
it.
And I think she's definitely going to be learning stuff about what additional powers she has now that she's taken the third of the magic. The final third. Oh, wow. Wow.
2/5
So much
left
happened,
to go.
huh?
2/5 left to go. 2 more episodes. Next one's coming out in 2 days. We are reading through. I don't know why I don't check before
88. I love
88. You're like Elena already knows what chapter she can read to tonight.
Well, yeah, because we need to read it tonight, and I was like, how far? Like, what am I committing to right now?
Right. All right. So through 88, read it with us. We're super excited. Yeah, I'm now back on. This book is amazing. And I feel like it's really hit its stride. And I'm jazzed. So
I'm sorry to bring this up now, but I'm surprised none of us has mentioned how we think Lydia and Rune are mates.
I was just assumed. I just assumed we had all agreed that.
It's
yeah.
totally agree, but we haven't talked about it on the
Oh.
episodes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they are. No questions. Agree.
No questions. There's just like
Yeah.
a lot of soul talk. Like, my soul speaking to her soul, blah, blah, blah.
I'm
My
so
souls
drawn
are
to her. Like,
drawn.
I can't look away. Like,
Yeah.
oh,
So
I'm just.
I will say because some people complain about like these elusive mates and how they pop up all the time in Sarah J. Maas novels. I don't hate that. Y'all know I love me some mates. But I think at this point, like before, it was like oh, we got another one. I see the signs we got, and now it's just like, well, yeah, no duh, everybody's mates. Like or Karanam and they decide to be mates. Like, yeah. So but yeah, it's cute. I now need to
Well, if
make
you
Rune and
haven't
Lydia scented soap.
read. Oh, yeah, you do.
Yeah.
But if no one like is a seasoned fantasy reader and hasn't caught up with all of the mates and the language of
True.
hinting towards it, or haven't read Throne of Glass or for some reason Akatar.
Should
Yeah.
have read Throne of Glass, and I'm assuming Akatar. So, like, everyone
If
here,
you
like,
got to this point, yeah, you should have.
I was gonna say, if you're here with us, I hope you've seen a lot of mates, because otherwise we just ruined a lot of shit for you.
I don't know if have you guys noticed any like thread language in the Crescent City series that
Not
alludes to
really.
me? Yeah. I feel like it's more souls.
Yeah, it's like their souls are connected, and it's like the smells, which I love. I just love the scent profiles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The scent profiles on Lydia and Rune always like worries me that someone's gonna catch it and
Yeah.
like,
Because earlier they were like, we can smell her on you. And I was like, I know. And everyone's going to be able to now that they've like accepted each other. But
right.
yeah, I love them.
Sorry for that last bit.
No, we can talk about mates anytime. And we'll talk about it more in the next episode for anybody who had to drop off because they're not done with Throne of Glass. So we'll bring it up again. Don't worry. So everybody can fangirl with us. But all right, through 88 for 2 days from now. We will see you then. Bye, everybody.